we had a little intermission and now we're back and I forgot how to do all of this, but welcome to Bingu Choom and K-pop tunes. I am Choom, also
Mhm.
known as Reina.
And I'm Bingu, also known as Lacey.
And today we're going to talk about K-pop as a whole, but just as a reminder to everyone that listening, we don't claim to be experts or professionals on topics discussed. So if there's any ever wow, I can't
Woo,
talk.
okay.
Wow, this is a tongue twister. If there's ever any information through our research that we're presenting incorrectly, or if it's out of date or just like wrong completely, please let us know. We're just two fans that are sharing our personal opinions. And while we're trying to be informative, we're also just here to have fun. And I made it. I got it out. That was a tongue twister.
You did amazing. You
Thanks.
So hey, um,
Bingy,
Bingu
what are we talking
here.
about today?
Well, you know what? People have been asking, what the flapjack is K-pop? Those are the questions that we hear out in the mainstream world and Twitter world. Well, let me tell you, it's a genre of music, my friend. Pop music with Korean flair, and it's sensational. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that K pop isn't the only music genre in South Korea? I'm here to tell you that there's a large selection for your music needs. We have Korean rock, we have Korean indie, we have Korean acoustic, and my personal faves, Korean hip hop and Korean R&B. And I'm sure there's some genres out there that we're missing, but it's just like, your regular American music, but
In
Korean.
Korean.
And let me tell you, it's just crazy. It's crazy what's out there and how good it sounds.
And what's available that people don't even know about.
I
Also,
know it's terrifying.
I just want to interrupt really quick. I am Bingu's new PR person. If you would like to hire her for any commercials, any advertisements
No.
online, YouTube advertisements, I think that was a really great pitch for what
Are you sure? Because that was a hot mess.
I think it was a really great pitch. We're just a little tongue tied here today, but other than that, we got it out, and that was a really good. You could do like those car commercials,
Wow.
the radio
I
advertisements.
You know what I think of when I said this like little snippet? I was thinking of I'm George Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Yes. I was
Uh,
listening to it and I was like, man, this sounds like one of those 1950s radio commercials.
are you bored of the same old music? Do you feel like you're hearing the same
What?
songs over and over again?
Well, we have something to recommend to you. How about
K
K-pop?
K-pop? Yes, kids, K-pop. We could just do the entire intro over again.
We could. We can make it better every time. We'll have it perfected by the end of this episode, and then we'll never be informative either. We'll have to do a whole other episode.
How annoying.
Our subscribers are going to be like, what
They're
the
like, this is
heck?
it.
Quality content, people. Quality content.
They'd be like, "Whew, that was a rough 5 minutes. I'm not listening to anything else."
Okay. Man, I haven't laughed this hard in a while. This is good. Um, but yes, as Bingu said, so K-pop is kind of becoming worldwide now in more of a mainstream sort of way. It's always been worldwide in the fact that like little subsets of people have known about it and been interested in it, kind of like anime and just like other interests. But it's becoming more worldwide in the fact that it like blew up in the last few years. We've always had groups that have like toured
How
I
long
don't.
do you think it's been since like
When did Gangnam Style come out? Because I think that's when
oh, that's a
people
good
really
question.
started to pay attention. It's
Let me look it
always
up.
been worldwide before that. Like what Rain had a world tour that he's done before. Big Bang had a world tour in like 2011 or 2012.
Well, Gangnam
Wonder
Style
Girls.
happened in 2012.
Okay. Wonder Girls have gone on tour before that. Rain went on tour before that. Girls' Generation went on tour before that too, like out of Korea. I don't know if all
Mhm.
of them were world tours, but they've definitely been touring like outside of Korea. So it's been something that's like known and they've had shows in the United States. But I feel like Gangnam Style is when people really started to pay attention because that was essentially the first time that I had heard K-pop on American radio.
Yeah, and that was a time where people thought K-pop was weird.
Yeah, but in the end, it's becoming more of a norm, I guess. I mean, yeah, they thought it was weird, but they were still paying attention to it, and they've paid enough attention to it throughout the time now that it's to the point where, like, Monsta X is on the radio, BTS is on the radio. They're doing American, or not American, well, they're doing collabs with American artists. They're doing English speaking songs or like half English speaking songs.
Mhm. Oh, Eric Nam has been on podcasts a lot lately.
He's always had a podcast going. I think he's been doing it for like a year or two. Have you ever listened to his?
No, like he's been on different podcasts.
Oh, he has?
Like people are interviewing him on
Oh,
different podcast shows.
hey, Eric. Eric!
Eric, please.
Shout out to Eric Nam, please.
And his
I
interviews
like,
are really fun.
well,
I
I was
don't
gonna
know.
say, I love his sense of humor. Like, I just got done watching a BuzzFeed video with him a
Oh,
couple
I
nights
didn't watch
ago.
that yet.
Dude, watch it. He's freaking hilarious. I love Eric Nam.
My sister today was like, "Do you know who Eric Nam is?" And I was just like, "Yes."
Girl,
It was
who
so
do you think I
random.
am?
And she's like, "Well, he's on a podcast." And my sister does not sound like this. She was like, he's on a podcast." And I was like, "Oh, which one?" I was like, "Cuz I probably listened to it before." And then like she
But
sent me the link or whatever.
he's interviewing on other people's podcasts now?
Yeah, like people are
Cuz he
interviewing him.
Oh, what the heck? Cuz he has K-pop Daebak, I think that he does.
Yeah, I just know in one interview he was just kind of like it's a work in progress, the podcast that he's doing.
Okay.
Um,
Cuz I think he's been doing K-pop Daebak for a while though. But
mhm.
no, really, Eric Nam, please if you would like to.
Please, we're both from the same city. Like Atlanta, you're from Atlanta, I'm from Atlanta. Come on, let's link up. Come on.
And we're also big fans. So
There's that too.
yeah, so like shout out, but also he's cool. Like no, his sense of humor. You really need to watch that BuzzFeed video though. That was really he read thirst tweets and it was a mess.
Let me add that to my YouTube queue.
It just came out. I don't know when this episode will
No,
be
I saw it
released.
pop up. I'm the person, I'm gonna watch it and it gets lost. So I never
Watch
get
it.
to
No,
it.
watch it. It was like 2 in the morning and I was cracking up. Like I couldn't even laugh aloud because Jeremy was asleep
Hmm.
and I was like my ribs hurt because I was like seal laughing where it was just like silent laughter.
I'll definitely watch it then. I probably won't watch it tonight because if I laugh too much, I won't be tired anymore because I'm getting more oxygen. Does that make sense? Whatever. I'll watch
No,
it
it does make
tomorrow.
sense. Watch it though because it was
I'm
really
just
good.
gonna I'm just gonna sit here and you can keep talking about what K-pop is.
um okay, so Eric is being featured on podcasts. That's another thing that's happening. But it's definitely becoming more known mainstream and like you're hearing it on the radio more, featuring in podcasts more apparently. And I think it really blew up essentially with Gangnam Style. There was always like it's always been worldwide known before that, and a lot of K-pop artists have toured outside of Korea before that. But I think Gangnam Style is what really blew it up because people were like, "Oh, this is weird." But then when other famous people started getting into it, normal everyday people were just like, "Oh, I guess it's not that weird."
Yeah. I say it like that because my cousin is just like, why do you listen to it?
I still get people that are like, "What?"
Why do you
Um
listen to music you don't understand? You need to mind your business.
Mind your own damn business.
Mind your business, okay? You want me to drop you
It's
off at a place or
the
not?
the thing is though, I think we mentioned this in our very first episode. Who cares if you can't understand it? It's literally pop music in a different
Yeah.
language. You go to Germany, Germany's got pop music in German. You go to Italy, Italy's got pop music in Italian. You go to India, they've got music that's pop in Indian. Like it's why is it weird because it's Korean? That's what has always gotten me. And I know we talked about this in our very first
Yeah,
episode.
and I don't know if I said it in the first episode, but I always bring up the point of like, okay, but can you explain to me why people like Jay-Z have world tours
Yeah, that too.
and
Like
like they sell out in Japan? Like, can you explain that? Can you make that
it's
make sense?
yeah, no, it's the same concept. It's like
Yeah.
Linkin Park, Jay-Z, Taylor Swift, they go on world tours and they sell out. And it's not just like United States and English speaking countries. It's in places like Korea, it's in places like Japan. It's in different places like that. So it's music is just worldwide. It's a worldwide concept. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter what language it's in.
Right. And I will keep saying it
As
until
Mark would say, spitting straight facts.
okay.
Did you ever watch Jobbing?
I did. I did watch Jobbing. I did watch Jobbing because I felt some type of way.
Okay, but did Mark's rap though?
It was pretty fire. Okay. I think the
It
whole thing was had potential.
it was, but
It had potential.
I admit some of the B tracks are better. Like,
Oh my god. Like I'm till this day, I don't get why you would use the music from why you would not use have a title track from the teaser music. Cuz that's a
yeah, right.
song.
That was the song. That was a good song. I don't
Yes.
know. I like
There's like
Jobbing though. It was.
there's like
It,
3 good songs on that album.
oh yeah, there are. I'm actually opening my Spotify right now because the second or third song on the album, I think.
You know they're performing here right now.
I know.
I have a friend that she got a seat, and I was like, "Oh, I hope you have a good time." Cause me, Rachel, and Sonia almost went,
Oh wow,
but we were just kind of like,
Robbie's going.
"Oh, what? She is?
I'm pretty sure she got tickets.
Oh,
For
she did
the
get tickets.
not for the
Yeah.
LA. I think they're in. I don't know if it's they're in San Francisco or what, but she got tickets for it.
Oh, cool.
I Can't Stand the Rain is my favorite one, but Supercar I'm pretty sure is the one that was in the teasers.
Yeah, I think it was that one. I can't tell you which ones are my favorite, but I know I like at least 3 songs. And I don't know. We just kind of talked about it. It was like, is it worth it? And we're just kind of like, maybe not
I'm
at this time.
yeah, maybe not at this time. I'm kind of sad though because NCT came to Phoenix
Hmm.
and performed at Phoenix, and then Super M with Taemin didn't come to Phoenix, and I was like, okay,
Mm-mm.
I see you. I see how
Yeah,
it
you live and you learn.
is. Freaking got it. Okay.
It's okay. I've never seen any of them. I've only seen
I mean,
like,
I haven't either, but I was really hoping when NCT SM put Phoenix on the map, and then it was just that one
we're just gonna have to interview
NCT.
them. It's gonna be okay. We're
Please,
just gonna
Mark.
we're just
Mark
gonna
is really funny too. If you ever get a chance to watch anything Super M related, Mark is super funny.
oh, I need to watch it. I'm so old and like out of the
I can
loop.
I can link you. I think there's a interview that has like Mark and Johnny
Hmm.
that they're really funny.
Link me, sis.
Okay, I will. Mark's sense of humor. He's another one that if he had a chance, him and Eric Nam on this
I feel
podcast.
like him. I feel like those two, and then like put Jackson in there, and let's just see what happens.
Oh, Jackson is so. Did you see him with the dude from I forgot the guy's name. What's the guy's name?
Is he a YouTuber?
No, he's the like British guy that's on a late night show or something.
Not ringing any bells. I don't watch TV.
Dang it.
British guy? Is he kind of like chubby?
Yeah.
Oh, I know who you're
Um
talking about. I don't know that guy's name.
James Corden.
I mean, yeah.
No, well, I'm like looking, it came up. James Corden,
Okay.
Jackson Wong, and James Corden trade food, language, and sport. That was the funniest video. Jackson.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna link it to you right now because I have it open.
Okay, go for it.
This one you have to watch. I swear, Jackson.
I'm gonna have so much stuff to watch. It's great.
Good, yeah. This one you need to watch though. Jackson's so freaking funny too. Those three. If you guys want to feature on the podcast, shout out.
Okay, but we totally went like off track.
We did. But we're still talking about K-pop.
Yeah, but I guess people want to know what it is. Like I don't know what else you have in your notes, but
Well, I mean, for this too, at least, our tangent there was still how K-pop is slipping into American culture, I guess, and becoming
oh,
more
that's
well known.
valid. Yeah.
Like Jackson did an interview with James Corden. Eric is on a bunch of podcasts. BuzzFeed interviews idols when they
That
come
stuff
for
is
their
so
tours
funny to
now.
me and sweet when they do those little trust falls or
Yeah.
stare into each other's eyes for 1 minute. It's just cute.
Monster X did a Jenga game um where they
Oh,
answered a bunch of
there was a
questions.
question. Was it on there? It was a question. They're just kind of like, what? They're just like, what question? What kind of question is that?
Juhan, he was like,
Their
what was
reactions were
it?
funny. That's all I know.
Juhan was like, I think it was a question about like something about who in the group would you trust to bury a body with, and Juhan was like, what? And the translator translated what they meant, like if you killed someone and you buried the dead body, and Juhan's eyes just like blew up. He was like, what? Why are you
It's
asking this
so
question?
funny. I think that is just hilarious because that's such a cultural like
Yeah, no.
disconnect.
Well, that's one thing too. When
They're
Eric,
probably like, y'all out here killing people?
you talk about killing people over drinks, what?
What? Kiss Mary? What? Kill? What?
That was one thing though that Eric in his BuzzFeed video reading the thirst tweets, he was
Mhm.
like reading some of these tweets and he was just like, I live in Korea. I haven't said these words in like years. Like what's going on here?
Oh my goodness. I really need to watch it now. It's great.
So there are different genres of Korean music because like you said, it's Korean. It's just music in the language of Korean. K-pop is the most well known and I've noticed online, especially now that it's becoming kind of a movement that you're seeing more in the United States and seeing worldwide. I've noticed a lot of people are trying to argue that it's a culture more than a genre. And I
I
wanted to
just
discuss this. What do
y-
you feel about this statement?
I think it doesn't make sense. If I'm being completely honest, like K-pop is literally a music genre. Like if you're talking about culture, then you need to talk about Korean culture. I don't like obviously music is part of any culture, but you
Music
can't.
is more to me a subculture. It can definitely influence the entertainment industry. It can influence the fashion industry. It can influence different things that you see happening throughout a like country's development. And it definitely like you'll see different styles of music be more prevalent at certain times in history, but I wouldn't call it a flat out culture. It's more of a subculture. It has its influence as a whole to culture in general, but it's not a culture.
No, it's not. And the way you explain it makes a lot more sense cuz music influences everything.
Everything. And like you go back in time and like even just like American music off the top of my head, like you go back through history and there's different artists that and styles of music that were more popular at given times in history. And I feel like that's like what I mean when I'm talking about like a subculture,
Hmm.
because definitely like the Beatles when they were super popular, their fashion and what they were doing and what they were wearing and what they were saying was a lot more popular with the general public at the time that they were popular. But it's like ever changing. So after the Beatles kind of wear down, whoever came next was what was like, oh, this is what's blowing up and this is what's going to influence, or like it could be one artist, it could be multiple artists. And so I think that, I mean, it influences things is what I'm trying to hint at. I say subculture very loosely because it influences different
Yeah.
things.
I don't know
It,
why people would say it's
but
K-pop
have
is
you
a
seen that though? Like
culture.
Twitter goes
No,
crazy.
I've never seen that in my life.
Well, I'm on Stan Twitter. You're on normal Twitter.
Yeah, but sometimes things pop up on my end. Like I
I see it.
follow some,
I see
maybe the people I
it
follow are just kind of just like they just be
normal.
minding their own business.
That too, normal and minding their own business. But it pops up a lot, which is why I was like, maybe we should do a episode on what like K-pop is, because it pops up a lot on my feed where like something will happen in the US, or like a US reporter will say something offensive to a K-pop stan and a K-pop stan will just go in on them about how like it's a culture, it's not a music genre. And I'm just like,
That doesn't make sense.
it's pop music in Korean.
Like they're
It's
not wrong. They're literally
no,
listing a music genre.
yeah.
Like,
And like I get where the culture thing is coming from. You're not 100% wrong, but you're
I
almost
mean,
100% wrong.
you're like 90%,
Yeah, you're at least
95.
90% wrong, because
Cuz
there is, too, looking at my notes, there is the thing called K-pop idol culture. Um and that is its own thing in Korea, which began with the debut of like the first boy groups and girl groups, so Hot, TVXQ, BoA,
mhm.
those sorts of groups, and it came into being the thing of like fan bases and fan signs and what else, the like actual official fan bases where you have like the little card that says I'm a member of this person's fan club, like that sort of thing, and you go to the cheering events and like what are they called, the light sticks. it,
Live what live
no,
stages or
light
meetups?
stick. Yeah, the
Oh.
live stages, you go to the live recordings, but you also have like the light sticks for the
Yeah,
cheering.
but like that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. That's idol culture, though. So, and I
Yeah.
think that's what people are confusing K-pop for, is idol culture and
Oh.
how it grew into the Hallyu wave. I
Mhm.
think that's what people are confusing. And so these arguments on Twitter that I'm stumbling upon, I think that's what I'm really seeing, is like people are thinking of K-pop as idol culture and the
Yeah,
dedicated fan bases, but it's really just pop music in Korean.
it really is, y'all. Like,
And I think that's where a lot of people, I think that's what too deters a lot of people that aren't familiar with K-pop. So like these American reporters that are doing interviews, is they see the dedicated fan bases and the dedicated fangirls and they're just like, we don't have that in America. This is weird.
I mean, you do.
You
It's
do,
just not
as
prominent,
organized.
or you're not paying attention to it. Like,
Yeah.
think
No, it's
about
not
all the
prominent.
people that are obsessed about Kanye West. Think about all the people that are obsessed with Chris Brown.
Well,
Think
even think
about,
about like One Direction, when One Direction like blew up
yeah.
and was its
And
thing.
those fans
And
were
see,
insane.
oh yeah, One Direction fans were. Man,
And
remember the
Justin Bieber fans.
yeah, remember the war, One Direction, Justin Bieber, and Big Bang?
I will forever be confused about how that even had, like, I just don't get it.
I don't even remember what people were arguing about, but
I
it was
will
funny.
say, I will say, like, for people that are new with K-pop, don't think that being into like this music is making you weird. Like, don't think looking on Twitter and seeing the bad side of K-pop fans, don't let that turn you off, because there's a lot of
And
people that are just like me in Choom that are just here having a good time. And there's just different, you're able to find people that are just like you that enjoy the same artists that you do. Like there's levels, I feel like.
When it's like we're doing this podcast, but I can 110% assure you that K-pop is not just what Bingu and Choom, or I'm Choom, not what we listen to only. Like I will admit, majority of my playlist is K-pop because for some reason when I'm like writing or when I'm like working from home, it's nice to focus to a music that I don't understand the language of. Like I can
Mhm.
easier focus on what I'm doing when I've got the background music of Korean playing. Like I just my work ethic goes up. But I've got other playlists. Like I listen to everything.
Yeah, like how we were talking when we weren't recording. Like Choom has a lot more K-pop playlists, and mine are more. I mix mine, so whatever songs I like, I just add them to the same playlist. So it's just like a whole bunch of mix of English music and Korean music. Because for me, I like my music or my playlists really get me going in the morning when I have to commute. So I'm trying to find, I just really like the music that just like,
Kind of wakes you up, wakes your brain up, gets you pumped,
yeah,
blood
some people like
flowing.
calm music sometimes, but for me, I just need something like,
Well, that's like my I have a writing playlist that's basically a mix of what you said. Because when I'm like writing or when I'm like doing role playing online, which I haven't done in ages, I just like things that really like
I do
make
too.
get my brain like flowing. Like I like powerful songs that make me imagine what I'm writing.
Oh, I like the chill-fi, the lo-fi music. That's me. That's the music I play when I'm like working or
Yeah.
when I was writing, when I did the role play stuff. I can't listen to lyrics of any kind because I'll start thinking about like K-pop stuff. I don't know. Not focusing on the task at all. But there's a whole bunch of there's just a whole lot of amazing artists in the Korean.
There are, and it's not just pop. I know like it's blown up in the States in America that it's K-pop, but there's other artists. There's indie bands, there's rock bands, there's acoustic artists, there's people who sing ballads. There's hip hop.
Y'all, there's rappers.
Yeah, there's rappers, there's hip hop, there's R&Bs, there's underground rappers that only release mixtapes and aren't signed to labels. Like there's everything that we have
Yeah.
here in America, and I don't know if you've listened, but Akmu, Akdong Musician, their most recent album that they had a bit of country influence.
What?
Country like indie influence. I definitely heard it in like the first few songs. So it's like
Honestly, it's about time a Korean group or artist tried out like country. That's like the only genre I've never heard.
you kind of hear it sometimes in some of the indie stuff, but not
But
like
it's not
super
like
prevalent. It's
it's
not
not
super
like
prevalent
yeah, it's not
and obvious.
yeah.
But just
I don't
like
listen to an
saying
indie song and be like, "That's country."
yeah. But that's like one thing too that one reason I wanted to do this episode of like what is K-pop? It's a music genre. Like I know people the things that get reported in the news about it mainstream are really focused more on the idol culture and the fan bases than the music itself, which is really frustrating because I think that's why people look at it and they're like, "Oh, this is weird," because they don't realize that we do have fan bases that are that dedicated here in America. And there are American artists that go on tour to these countries all around the world, and they've got dedicated fan bases over there too.
Yeah, and you really I just don't really I don't know how I feel when people say it's weird because it's not.
It's
It's
not.
just
And that's
not.
why, like, I'm hoping too with this episode, maybe someone is listening that's like on the fence about K-pop and like, I don't
Mhm.
know if I want to listen to it.
I mean, like, it's ultimately like, why would you ever judge someone for truly enjoying something that brings them happiness? Why
Yeah.
would you call that
And
weird?
why would you call it? And
You
it's
should,
just music. It's
yeah, I think just generally, if you're trying to experience new things, especially when it comes to traveling or just anything and all at all, you really have to keep an open mind to things, and you won't know until you jump into it. Like you can't just look at something and base it off like the stuff you see on social media. Like you have to do your own research. You have to experiment or experience it for yourself.
Yeah. And that's one reason I reiterated like when you go to a different country, you're going to hear music in that country's language. Like when I went to Germany when I was 8 years old,
Mhm.
there was music in German. Like that's just you can't even if you're interested in travel and that's it, you can't go to another country and expect there to be everything in English, like American food for you, just right there at your disposal. You can't expect all of the signs to be in English. Like that's not how it works.
Mm-mm.
And it's the same thing with music. They people that are not from America listen to American artists just as much as people that are from America listen to Korean
And there's that on
artists. That's the tea for today,
that.
and it's quite strong. As like a little wrap up, maybe I guess. How long is this episode? Oh,
You've done really good this episode.
as a little wrap up, because we're both older K-pop fans, who do you think has contributed to like the Hallyu wave? I think we mentioned this in one of our previous episodes very briefly.
Mm,
Because I know I talked about like Gangnam Style blew up in 2012. Rain's been on world tour. People like Wonder Girls have been on world tour. Who do you think has helped contribute to the Hallyu wave and Korean music kind of going overseas?
I really feel like, I mean, obviously, I don't, I think it really exploded with BTS. Like, I feel like that's a given to mention BTS because they're the biggest contributor. I want to say the biggest. I don't know. It feels like
Especially
they've done
in
a lot.
Yeah, especially in the more like
Yeah.
modern, more recent years, they've definitely contributed a lot.
But before, like, if I'm not thinking about them, I'd definitely say, I'd say Big Bang and Shiny
I
really
agree with
left a
that.
strong
I think Rain
impact.
as well. Just because I know Rain before he came
Hmm.
to like America and did his tour here, he's also been in an American movie or two. He was
Oh,
like
he
he acted.
has.
He
Yeah.
acted. So, and
And
I
I
know a lot of K-pop idols look up to him too.
mhm.
So I would say Rain.
And like Girls' Generation too, because I remember
Yeah.
seeing them on Good Morning America.
Yeah.
Honestly, all the OGs, I really feel like everybody played a part. Like literally everybody played a part. Everyone that was like, like you said, TVXQ, Boa, Big
Yeah,
Bang,
Boa got
Rain,
really
Baby
popular in
Girl.
Japan too. So I know she's got like a huge following in Japan. So I know
Yeah,
she
even
helped
like
spread it.
Hyuna, like her videos went viral a lot.
Yeah.
I don't. It's just so random, but I'd say like the main groups, 21. Oh, and Blackpink. Blackpink became a really big thing too.
Yeah,
A lot of
she's
people
the
like a lot of people like their EDM type of style, and they performed at Coachella. And I
yeah.
think that's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, especially for Coachella to be a K-pop
Mhm.
group. And then I know Epic High performed at Coachella one year too.
Oh, I didn't know that. No,
Yeah.
what?
Not this past year, but I think the year before, or maybe
Yeah.
the year before that, when they were still with YG, they performed once.
Wah wah.
Mm.
Well, I don't know. I feel like everybody has. It's not really a competition of who's done it better. I feel like everybody's contributed and it made a difference overall. So I can't really say
And it's definitely contributed to different niches too. It's not just one general thing. Like I think everybody that kind of pushed it, the Hallyu wave overseas, the groups that did it, they each helped in like different areas. If that
definitely.
makes if that makes sense.
No, I think that makes sense. It just feels like with all the groups that have been coming overseas, the more they came, the more people were paying attention. Like that's literally, I don't know. Sometimes you have to keep repeating the same things over and over again until people start to notice. And I feel like that's just what happened with K-pop because like you do the same tours or the people go like they do the world tours a lot or they do like
Not
performances
only
on certain
that,
shows.
it's different world tours.
Mhm.
And like if you like Monster X each year, their venue got bigger. For
Yeah,
example, BTS each year the venue got bigger.
they're so
And so
crazy to me.
people start to pay attention when you're selling out the Rose Bowl. People start to pay attention when you're selling out Staples Center.
Right.
That's when people start to like notice what's going on.
They're just like, "What the freak frack is going on here?"
I remember when I was in line for Zico, there were a bunch of people that were like, "What are you guys lined up for?" And we were just like, "Oh, it's for
Zico!
for a K-pop artist named Zico." And they were like, "Oh, that's cool." And then they kept walking on.
I mean, fair. They just wanted to know what was happening.
Yeah, they were like, "Why is this line wrapped around the building?"
Like, can you imagine just like running into a star that you didn't know was a star? Ugh, goals. Apparently, somebody ran into Super M and spilled coffee on them, on one of the
Oh,
members,
oh,
and she was just really
cool.
embarrassed.
Oh no.
I don't know where that tweet is, but
Oh, no, I would be embarrassed too. All of them are really sweet, though, like, I don't know if any of
yeah, I
them
think she said they were sweet, but she was just like she was out of there. She was so sorry. She tried to pick it up. She did her best, and then she was gone. And I was like, relatable. Same.
I saw a fan cam earlier today just on the topic of running into K-pop idols, at Monsta X's fan sign, like, last
Mhm.
week.
Mhm.
There were, like, only a few people left in the line, and I guess Shonu was off to the side, and he was just, like, waving and talking with fans, and this girl, Juhan was at the end of the line. This girl said bye to Juhan and was getting out of her chair and was still saying bye to Juhan, so she wasn't looking, but she was walking in the direction that she knew the stairs were at to leave the stage.
Mhm.
She turns around and Shonu is like right there. She like ran into Shonu and he like tried to make sure she didn't fall, but she like jumped backwards and she was so surprised that she like apologized, took two steps and her legs like gave out.
Oh, poor thing.
They didn't like give out, but you could tell she just like collapsed when she hit the stairs and she covered her face with her album. And
Oh,
Shonu was just like, Are you okay?" And then
what
you could
do I
see
do?
you, you can see Juhan staring off at the he's still at the table and he's just like looking over like going on over there. And then this poor girl is covering her face and the fans that were like recording the fans that saw this happening, all of them were going, "Oh," and like some of them were laughing. And I was just
I
like
mean, that's
that
just cute.
it was really cute, but I was also like relatable. If I ran into Shonu, I would probably my legs would probably give out too.
Honestly. But anything else we want to say about what is K-pop?
I don't think so. I think we covered it. There's different genres. There's K-pop is the genre, and idol culture is the subculture of like
Yes.
its own thing. In Korean culture, there is a subculture called idol culture,
Listen,
and it
facts,
started.
guys.
But K-pop itself is Korean pop music, just like K-R&B is Korean R&B.
And it's okay to like these things and to explore these things. And if you're ever lost, lo-fi is there for you. At least for Korean hip hop and R&B.
Or
You
you
know
can just
what?
mention me on Twitter and I can help you if you're
Honestly,
ever lost.
just add us and I got you. Just tell us what genre and we got well it depends. Either I take it on or it's Choom.
And then for anybody who's like new and doesn't know what K-pop is and was curious about this episode, we tried to break it down into like the culture aspect of what people are thinking it is and then the genre that it is. But also I know I mentioned Hallyu Wave a couple times. If you don't know what that is, just really quick, it's essentially just the international spread of Korean pop. It grew in I believe about it kind of started 1996 when idol culture blew up with like Hot
That sounds
and
right.
TVXQ and BoA. That's when it kind of like started to spread internationally and overseas, but that's what the Hallyu wave is essentially. It's just the spread of Korean pop music and idol culture abroad.
There you
So
go.
if you ever hear that term thrown around, that's the breakdown. There's a lot more deeper stuff in it. We could probably do an episode on that, but that's the shorthand sure.
I
For your
remember have to
notes.
doing I remember doing that for my Korean class. We had to talk about the Hallyu wave. Like we had to talk about it.
Mm.
We had to make a presentation and stuff about Korean culture and stuff. And a lot of people did the Hallyu wave. I'm so tired of learning about that.
Like I know it
You
already.
know what I did? You know what my presentation was on? Do you remember?
I don't.
It was about Sasang fans.
Oh, I do remember.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh man, that's gonna be an episode too. You can pull out your presentation.
I deleted that.
Oh, dang.
It's so
We
old.
kind of that's one of our topics that we have on our list too.
I'm curious about. You know what? I'm not gonna get off topic. This is it. So, if you guys want to follow us on social media, feel free to at Bingu and Choom. I think that's the name of it.
Yes, that is.
Okay, thank God. I had to pull up my Twitter.
Nope, it's Bingu and Choom.
Okay. And that's on our Twitter and also Instagram and our Facebook if you want to give us a like.
Yeah.
We're very active on Twitter. I'm the most active on that account.
Hey, I've been busy these past
I get
couple
it.
weeks.
I get it.
Miss Miss like low key leaving me passive aggressive tweets on the account that we share.
I mean, it is what it is. Go hard or go home.
Ah,
It just shows that I care. That I just missed us.
I understand. I feel the love. It's okay. Maybe
You
just
could
wanted to cry, but
you could shade me back. It's you have the login. You can do whatever you want.
yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. I think my
That's
homework for this week is the Eric Nam.
videos.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like literally all the videos he sent me.
Yeah, watch Jackson. Your homework this week will be watch Jackson's interview with James Corden since we talked about it. Watch Eric Nam's BuzzFeed video, and I will find some Mark and Johnny content to send you from
Okay.
NCT.
And guys, if you want to do the homework with me, go for it and we can talk about it together.
I will link them. I will link everything on Bingu Choom. I will tweet it out
Oh, it's
so
lit.
we
Woo!
can all do the homework together.
Yeah, that'll be really fun actually.
That would be. I've
But
already
okay.
seen it. I did the homework.
She's ahead.
I did my homework.
I did my
Okay.
homework early. I have a free weekend.
Oh, okay. That was the episode for this time. Thank you guys for listening. Go give us likes on social media, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.